Right, in this video I'm going to try and change this Honda Civic alternator. Specifically, this is a 2014, so it's a 64 plate, and it's a Honda Civic 1.6, and I've heard that the serpentine belt, the drive belt, is hard to take off. It looks hard. One thing I want to point out, there's a big, as you look down there, there's a big 19mm bolt. That is the tensioner bolt, okay, to undo the tensioner. Now, remember on the Mark 8, so this is the Mark 9 on the Civic, on the Mark 8, logically, you put it in, you pull towards yourself, that loosens the belt, okay, loosens the tension on the belt. On this Mark 9, it's the opposite way around. You go anti-clockwise, so you push it towards the driving compartment to loosen the belt. You'll need extensions. I've bought a long as I can find ratchet spanner, one end, and ring spanner other end. However, I tried it earlier, gave it a little push, even that was quite tough, so probably have to use the like a pipe extension bar, and that sort of gave me the, and it comes up about here, and that gives me the necessary leverage. Now I just want to mention one thing on this Honda Civic Mark 9 Estate 1.6. You always got to try and find the best jacking points for safety reasons. So I got my jack, right, which is a 3 ton quick jack. I placed it here where you would normally place it for changing tyres, etc. That's a strong point. Pumped it up there, but my main load area that's taking the load is here, where there is a towing eye. Okay, so I've just fashioned the wood a little bit. This is a 2 ton axle stand, so it's 4 tons I can take in total. So really I'm hoping for 3, but nothing would fit properly. So I've got a piece of wood there, rests nicely on there, and should be plenty of it on the bare metal. Don't forget there is the eye itself, but you want the force going straight down here really. So you want to double check, there's the metal, it's pushing on there, it's coming down here like that, and I will check other side, and it's not going to impede as well me if I try to take off the bottom cover. So there's I put my finger where the metal bulk of the car is, comes about here, and the centre of gravity just about goes through. Right, but there is of course this thing to rest on if you've still got yours, but because it's not super duper safe, I've added extra 3 ton jacks in case if it does fail, it should catch it right there, and that's what I recommend. I was thinking of a secondary jack point, which is here. See where my finger's pointing, this bolt here. This would be okay as well, but I think if I was to put something on there, it's got to sit, it's got to be, I've got to get it just right. A small indentation fits on the bolt, and then, because if I put any load on here, these things will bend and then I'll lose strength. So I've opted not to put it there. Okay, from what I've heard, what I've seen as well, taking the serpentine belt off is quite challenging on this car. It's nowhere near as easy as on the Mark 8. I could do that within 5 minutes on the Mark 8. Get my car jacked up. On this car it's going to be more challenging. So one of the things is, take off this side panel cover. I will Now, I'm just going to let you know, it may seem very, very slow in what I do, but that is how I do it. I do it very, very slowly because it's the first time I've done it. And whenever I do something for the first time, I take my time and I try and find the best solution. Okay, I don't try and do it in a speedy way. So, of course, some people might think, why don't you just take the alternator up from above? You can see it all, you don't need to jack it up, etc, etc. But I've also noticed that some people, they eventually have to take this panel off, and likewise I'm learning from that, from their kind of work, and I'm doing so as well. So in anticipation for it to be a difficult job, these are very nice clips. They've got metal inside them, but very tough. So 1, 2, 3, and I think there's one underneath as well. Underneath here there's a little one that catches on, I think. So it could be 4. And I'm going to take off the bottom panel because I don't even know where the oil filter is on this car, so I'm going to check things like oil filter, location of them. I want to check with the bottom panel off. It just means sometimes, you know, just that extra little bit of work, just a little bit of investigation, you might discover something. Or what quite often happens, if you drop something through the engine, you know, you can easily catch it again, just pick it up off the floor. If it didn't fall through, you know it's somewhere dodgy, like moving parts, etc. So you can see I'm using a pry tool. I'm taking this off recently, but these rivets are quite tough. So let me just take my time doing that and save my battery on my right. Some of the tools you'll need are here. And I'm kind of filming this bit after I done the complete job. So that's a 40 centimeter or 400 millimeter 19 ratchet at one end, and a really nice grippy, thick and grippy other end. This is not so thick, have a look, and this is thicker, just to grasp that tensioner bolt. Make sure you've got some magnets on a little telescopic thing. They come in handy because inevitably you will drop something down a hole and you need to retrieve it. 3/8 extensions, 1 1/4, and fashion some sort of a pipe to fit over the spanner to give you more leverage. You need that, okay? So I don't know if I made it clear, but I'm interjecting in my own video now. Make sure you when you push on that spanner, that you push with a steady, firm, but not too hard pressure. You'll feel it start to move. Once it starts to move, because it's a hydraulic kind of tensioner, I've never seen one before, but because it is that, you putting more force in it will only do nothing. It won't move any quicker. So all you do is, as long as it's moving, you just keep that steady pressure on. Bear that in mind. Okay, now I've already completed the work on removing and replacing this alternator on a 1.6 Honda, diesel Honda. So it's iDTEC Honda. It's a 2014 model, so it's a Mark 9. But I'll just give you a quick overview. I jacked up the car. I usually do that. I attempted to take the under tray off because I know it gives me more light. Because sometimes it gives me access from below. If I drop things, I can pick it up. But I couldn't take that under tray off because I put it on axle stands and in places where, you know, the under tray won't come off. But that's another. watch the video later, you'll see that I have got an alternative position to put the axles down. Anyway, this right hand wheel must come off because the panel is a quarter panel that comes off, gives you better access to the belt. Anyway, so I've got a big light here. The reason why I've done this and I'm filming this afterwards is because in the actual video, you'll see that I've missed out lots of juicy kind of important bits. I didn't have enough light, and I noticed what I need is a lot more light to make my point. Okay, so what it is that my belief, and you can fix things your own way, but my belief is get things out of the way. If you can remove things, remove as much as possible, and that will facilitate the actual removal of your target easier. In this case, the alternator. Right. So things to bear in mind. Now I've got a proper light. This is in the way, so I took that back, took the pipe out. That was difficult. I needed a very large a very large channel lock to loosen that eventually. Pulled that off, left that one here, and then pulled it off and left the pipe in here. You'll see in a minute. Pulled this one off. Of course, coolant was dripping down. All right. What else is in the way? That, see where I'm pointing there? That's bracket. I don't know why I put it back on. There's a 10mm nut there and a 10mm bolt there. 10mm bolt, and this bolt runs from here and across. That black bracket, I don't know. I put it back on, but I thought it's pointless. That black bracket. I can't really see the point of that particular bracket. But I took that off. I took this off, clipped that, moved the clip up, moved that one across. This is useful to take off. Taking it all off. This 10mm bolt here allows me to move this out of the way. And I coupled this. So that was out of the way. This is out. I can move that all out of the way. Of course, there's that alternator. Is it 12? You have to take off, and there's also this. But look down here. I'm going to use my pointer. Now I've got the light. That one there. See that one there? Where I'm pointing. That's got to come out. You got to unplug that, but you unplug that last. Okay. There's this one. See the little plastic thing? You uncouple that. This one is a bit harder. I think I left that on until the end. Unplugged that one. This one here is a cable that runs in there. Don't yank at it, because look, it fits onto a sensor. That would ruin all your good work if you was to break that. So there is a 10mm nut bolt here. I always confuse nut and bolt where I'm pointing. Okay, trust me, it goes. There's a 10mm bolt runs short ways across. Okay, so undo that, and this bracket I'm pointing out will come up. It'll still be attached via cable, and this one. Okay, that's where you kind of unplug that one at the bottom. That's where you can get your hand in and plug it in. All right, the whole lot comes up. I bungeed it across so it's out of the way. So now, remember, this will be out of the way. That's when I decided to use various tools, various spanners, to make sure it fits. Okay, on these 14s here. There's a 14 here, and here where I'm pointing here. There's another 14. Hopefully you can see that. Alright, but before I did that, obviously I took the belt off, because taking the belt off gives you better access to that. You must take the belt off, you can't just undo it, it'll just do all sorts of horrible things. So the 19 spanner went here, See that? I'll get my light on it. I'll move my light across. There's the 19s. There's the 19 tensioner bolt. So push, push. You could do this. You could take the belt off on your own, because I did it. So push gently. Locks about. It goes from about here, this position, to about this position. Your spanner. The belt comes off easily from the top. Just put my finger over there. It comes off. And then undid the 14 bolts. 14 bolts come out. There's a bit of a wiggle, bit of a struggle. It comes out this way towards me. Oh, I also undid the bolts on this cover to make it loose so it doesn't catch right there. And I don't really see I'm pointing, I don't really see the point of that bracket. Doesn't make any sense why that bracket is there, but I'll put it back on because that's just in the way a bit more. Doesn't do anything. And also this bracket here, I was thinking of taking that off because that is pointless. I don't understand the point of it, but I put it back on just in case there's some sort of it might give me some sort of I don't know, maybe it's like some sort of earth, I'm not sure. Okay, and that is it. And oh, most importantly, when you put the belt back on, obviously put the alternator in, put the bolts in, belt back goes on, belt goes back on next. Must be done. You must have two people do this. One person from above pushing to its limit. The second person puts the belt on the tensioner pulley there. I stuffed newspaper in that gap there. I stuffed newspaper. Let me get a better light on it. I stuffed newspaper in that hole here. I'm pointing. Right, to stop that moving. So the belt obviously goes on the alternator. Then from below, in there, in that archway, you'll see in the video, you could put some newspaper around the crank pulley, the one that's furthest towards the driver's seat, the big one, to stop the belt moving. But at that point, get your helper to push the spanner. Once the helper pushes the spanner, there's a huge amount of slack. I don't know why you cannot do it from above. I would have thought it would be equal amount of slack, but it's completely different. Giant amount of slack appears. Then I put it around, lastly, the AC pulley. Easy as that. Alright, so, and also, don't forget, before you do the jobs, to undo the 10mm on there and take off negative terminal battery. Put a cap on it so you don't sit on it again by accident, or put some tape around it, electrical tape. Also don't forget, when the whole job's finished, fill this. There's no high level or low level on the coolant, but fill it up. I filled it up probably up to the back there, because you would have lost a lot of coolant. Right, now anyway, if you wanted to watch the rest of the video, and I do apologise, it goes black and white, can't see anything much, but you know, give me a thumbs up. This is the best way to change the alternator and the belt if you want to. By the way, this belt here, I don't know if I mention it in the video later on, but that belt there, right on that tensioner pulley, instead of coming out that way to the right, you got to shove it that way to the left. So that is, normally this thing here, this bar is not there in the car, so it normally just slips on. Everything goes on from the right of the car to the left of the car, but that bit, obviously, these bits obviously do that, but that bit on there, you have to push the other way. So very bizarre. Anyway, carry on watching if you want, and do apologise if there's any sound problems. It goes a bit kind of hard to hear me. Right, so my brand new alternator, and I do recommend getting brand new ones, not even refurbished, I don't think. This is only 139, has arrived. So the key points are, look for where the bolt holes are, right? So it gives you a really good idea. Don't know what these are. They're obviously maybe to fasten some sort of bracket. Maybe. And you've got screw, you've got kind of threads in them, I mean. Got one long one here. Just here. Got a thread further down, just a hole here, and just a hole here. So it looks like it's 2 bolts. I can't see any more. There's a big old nut just here. Big old long nut as well, huge long nut. So it tells me a lot. That's the I don't know if it's OEM copy of whatever Denso, which is this. It just arrived. All I was going to do is take off the bottom tray, and then I know you can probably do this without taking off the bottom tray, but I just got a feeling that bolt on that side going to be hard to get to. It's going to be, so looking at that, we're turning out completely that way up. It's there, it's just there. So maybe not. We get a torch on there. What about the other bolt? I'm just thinking, is it much easier from the underneath? I could see a bolt there. Just angle it. Yep, that one there. Let me get a mag. So you got one. Oh, I can't see it anymore. There it is. This angle. There. Well, I've got my magnetic tool pointing. Hopefully it's pointing to it. There's one there. That's that one. There's that one there. And the second one, almost horizontal to it. It's slightly up. Could that be hidden behind the belt? Is it that one there? That one there. It's almost like I don't need to go from underneath. If I can avoid going from underneath, I will avoid going from underneath. I was going to take the under tray off, but I noticed, let me show you. I put this away first, don't damage it. So remember I bought the second hand. Like here, I've already put proper penetrating oil on it, K2 penetrating oil. Did it ages ago. So this is what I need to take off for oil changes, right? Unless you want to just suck it up from above. The under tray got all these guys here. So bolt there, bolt, and I will be oiling these bolts. I will be putting all these guys. There's so many fasteners, bolt, fastener, bolt. Not designed to be taken off anytime soon. Not. There's another one here. Not the greatest of job. I thought the Mark 8 was difficult, but this one looks as difficult. So you've got them back there, just like in the Mark 8. Got these here, that one there, some here. They all seem to be present. Don't think, I've got a feeling this tray's never been taken off before. Right, obviously this must have done, unless you want to do a dodgy oil change, which is sucking stuff out. The oil filter will be in there, right? To change your oil filter, you've got to take that metal panel off. So it's a bit like the Mark 8. If I wanted to take this off, seriously, notice how I use that little block and it's missed the under tray. I can actually take off the under tray by missing it. It's a big old piece, even bigger than it's even bigger. It's even bigger than the Mark 8. And in fact, I've just noticed something. Yeah. So this is not the jacking point. This is not the jacking point. I want to remove the under tray because if I drop the under tray, see that there's a hole where it's sitting on. I won't be able to pull the under tray out. So there's a note to myself. In future, I have to find a different jacking point. It may well be where I chose earlier, or it might just have to be, oh, it might be there where that bolt is. And then jack it up there and then secure it there, or jack it up here and then secure it there. So awkward, and I need it much higher because it's not even high enough. And I probably, if I was to take the under tray off, probably a good idea is to put it on the ramp to take the under tray off. First job, take the under tray off, put it on a ramp. But it's awkward. It's awkward. This here, look, there is no one underneath here. This will not come off. It's like stapled in. It's all in one piece, unless you want to break it off. Unless I want to break it off. I could cut it off, and then it will be exposed. Or I could just peel back like this. Like so. Quite awkward. Indeed, quite awkward. Let's get a bit more kind of footage of this section. Alright, awkward. Not a lot of room. Maybe I should have bought a Toyota, maybe like an Auris. Much harder than the Mark 8. It just feels so low. So this would be, I've got a feeling this would be strong enough. Or even straight on here. One piece of wood just here, probably this would be a good point. I don't want to put it on there, I would bust. I'll end up busting that and that will lose strength. Here. Just here. As well, I would do it next time. So, I'm going to try and avoid doing it from below, but I will need that open, which I have done. Okay. I'm going to carry on. Be another video where I do change the oil filter. What a job, it might change the oil filter on this. Mark 8's got the oil filter just here, much easier. No sign of any oil filter. Right. Ratchet at one end, because I was watching a video, someone recommended ratchet, so it could go either way, of course. 19mm. Draper. This end is the good end. That end is a bit wide. I've got a pipe that can fit over here, so I have tried putting this onto the tensioner bolt, and it doesn't grip anywhere near or secure as this end does. But if I put this end in, like so, this sort of angle, as it goes in, look how meaty that end is. It's perfect for it. This end is too fat to put the pipe around. Right, so the pipe is for extra leverage. I'm thinking, if this was to get out of the way, Obviously in a minute, if I was to do it, I'd plug the battery for the negative terminal, right, and then put a cap over the negative. If this came off, that bolt there would be much easier to access, I would say. And it may not even have to come off, because I could almost see it. Would it be easy to come off? Not really. Get some light on here. I'm just getting a visual kind of reference on all these. Is a cable that goes in here as well. There's another cable. One attachment point, another attachment point, second cable attachment point here. That's my little brown thing. That's that thing there. I mean, it's just so tempting. It almost could just come out. That bolt there is just into the bulkhead. Right, that one there. This one here is probably like a bracket that sticks out. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna see if I can remove this. And I'll see if there's any water that gushes out, any coolant. Or it probably would be. It's a stupid question. Is there going to be coolant? Of course there will be. Is there enough room just to kind of wiggle it out? Things to get. If this was out of the way, this was out of the way. I'll bring them up, undo them. Is there enough room to wiggle it out? This shield, if I took off, this shield can come off easily. 10mm, 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 10mm. I think this shield could come off. And there's this pipe here. What's this? Some sort of EGR thing, right? Goes it back into the turbo. This looks awkward. This one. Bracket there. Looks like a 10mm or maybe even 11. That came off at this might. I took this off, kept that there, took the shield off, because that's inflexible, that one. Awkward. This rubber hose came off. Let's check, let's do the... So far the only unplugging I did was this one here. Took the 10mm bolt off that. Had to use a lot of WD-40 squeezing in there, pushing in and out. This has got out of the way now. So when things are out of the way, the job just looks a lot easier. I'm just not even, you know, there's just no doubt about it. This lid is slightly in the way. Imagine that lid wasn't there. This corner would not be catching if I was to lift it straight up. Wouldn't even have to take off the water pipe, in theory. Right? And this lid is just a lid. Obviously I'll just lift it and move it out of the way a little bit, because, you know, I don't want to undo this. Damage it. Probably the lambda sensor damages easily. Knocks, bumps. I could take it out, but might crack it, might snap it. As soon as you do that, it just looks a bit more inviting. It looks a bit more nicer. If this was to come off, it would look really nice. So we'll try. So that coolant pipe is full of coolant. If I unplug that, comes gushing out. When to unplug it, it's quite difficult. Managed to get the clip all the way down here, just moved it a bit, wiggled it, and then the coolant came out. So if that was that, you know, if I have to do it, I'll do it. Let's get this heat shield off and see what it looks like afterwards. 10, 3/4 it will need. 1 1/4 will not be a bit. Spoke too soon. Spoke too soon. There, it's catching on. This heat should disconnect. Just going to disconnect these two. I need a bigger, much bigger pair of pliers if I'm going to try. I haven't got a lever. So 12mm. It's no washer or anything like that. I guess that's just a push and plug kind of thing, hopefully. Everything in this car is super tight. Oh, okay, it wasn't too bad. I went like that, and it just came out. So these, a lot of these will be out of the way. Move these completely out of the way. Yeah, completely out of the way like that. If I was to undo it from there, that'll be out of the way. So I could unplug it from here as well. Hear the click. Let's come off there like that. Just the old clip down there. Just down here. I'll get it off when this thing comes up actually. So got most of the cabling off. I did that to see where I'm putting the big grippers on. Basically, if I can get this off, which is like proving to be super hard, I don't know why they built it with such a long bit of metal that you have to poke in. If I can get that off, we get access to those two bolts. It'll be a lot easier. We'll just move the rubber hose that way, and then the thing will just come forward and out. Well, I've got this off, I mean loose, right? So this is going to help. If I have to come out backwards, it's going to help. It's not, you know, it's a good idea me doing that. Channel locks, get the right one. Get the jaws around it. Ah, come on. Got the jaws around it. Nice. Of course, you don't want to do it too hard. I don't grip on it too hard. It'll snap. Degrade the rubber too much. Don't loosen it. Come on. Wiggle, wiggle. Come on. Where's the wires above it? So all of that in there is going to come out. All of that in there is going to come out. But it will make the job so much easier. See how much I've got in here. Come again. Oh no, it's coming. Starting to move it. Just catch it with what's out. Quite toxic stuff. Something to contain underneath. Starting to wiggle my way through. I'm shifting a bit. Just tap at the top. It's just the top. Doesn't matter if I'm waterlogging although because it's knackered anyway. Just at the top. That's better. That's what you want to do. Don't squeeze too hard, you'll bust the rubber. I will bust the rubber. Ah, here you go, look. It just slides off now. It's just a case of catching it. Or maybe if I lift it up. Yeah, it's not too bad. There we go. It's on the belt, but never mind. Tuck that under here, out of the way a bit. There it is, out of the way, tucked out of the way. It's not too bad, didn't really leak that much, I won't need that much for tomorrow. So now that looks a bit more civilized now. You know, if the belt comes off, I might just keep belt tension on tomorrow somehow, because I know this belt is super difficult to maneuver off and back on. Because that, where the tension pulley is, I go that way. The belt doesn't go this way, it goes that way. Okay. Alright, so now that, look, that bolt becomes a lot more easier to view. Okay, right. Don't fancy doing any more tonight. See you in the day. Right, so the alternator came from this company here, Starter Motor, on eBay. So, and they also gave me a bag of sweets actually. So that's who I use. £139 reduced from 149. Well packaged. There was another box, of course, with a bit more padding. So it came within 24 hours, I would say. Not in terms of 24 hours, 24 hours in terms of working time. So about 2 days. So more fluid is drained onto it. I'm gonna have to dry this belt and eventually take it off. Water don't damage these belts. If it does, I'm afraid I've damaged my belt. But anyway, that's the easiest way I can think of taking this alternator out. Anyway, now looking in the broad daylight, that bolt there. So I think I should uncouple at least from here, this cable. Just got to remember all the attachment points, and also from here, if I can. I'll get in there with a small pair of pliers. I'm going to get better access to this bolt and to that bolt if I take the belt off. And I'm going to do a sneaky plan, which is to, when a belt is loose, I'm going to try and maybe bungee it back here and back here so it's tight, so it don't move when I'm trying to take, so it doesn't slip off. I have to do extra work putting it back on the pulleys. This is what I make of it, right? Alternator at the top, then the tensioner, water pump, AC, and the main crank, just there. So I've decided to use not the ratchet side to begin with, mainly because there's more area to grip on. It's a nice thick kind of area on that spanner. Apparently these are hydraulic dampeners in there, right? So there obviously is some sort of spring tension, but hydraulics as well. So it's no good shoving it really hard. You just got to keep a steady pressure on. I noticed when I gave it steady pressure with the left arm, still haven't found the pipe big enough to fit over here. Well, I noticed when I gave it steady pressure, I could just almost lift that belt off one finger. So you don't want to keep it under, you don't want to get your finger under there, but I could lift it off. As soon as I do that, I will tighten the belt. I'm not going to take the belt off because I think that is a job for another day or another summer's day. It's going to be a bit of a problem. So 40mm spanner. I'll leave a link in the description. I think there's just enough kind of leverage for me steadily take it off. In fact, let me give you a better view. So hopefully you kind of see what I'm doing. Hopefully I should really clean this camera lens, it's a bit mucky. Let me get a steady push, not super. So I'm just giving it steady force. There comes a point where not much into it. It stops. It only move about 30 degrees. I would say. That's why I don't keep that camera up there. So it's under there, squarely. I'm just gonna let that one go. Simple as that. Not simple really, but there is no extra room, right? You do it and that's it. 30 degrees and that's all the limit you have, right? I'm gonna spin that. It feels quite smooth actually, but I'm pretty sure the alternator was burnt out due to the heat involved. Alright, so I'm going to tension the belt from behind. Take this out first. Right, so I'm using a 1/2" wrench. There's not much nut sticking out. I'm trying to use the best nut that I can find. This is locked in, so it's not fall out, extendable. Gives me leverage, because this 14mm bolt is definitely in much more torqued, much higher than you would think, much higher. Okay, that's a beautiful sound. Those of you who do this often, you know what I mean. Look, that's finger loose now, and I've not ruined the bolt at all. If I was to tighten that, I would say maybe 13 Newton meters. I would say on something on a part like that. Nothing more than 30. That was on like 50, 60. So that's not going to fit. So I use that to take off that 14. I'm guessing that's another 14 on the other side. But will my tool fit? The tool does not fit. Even with the belt out of the way. So you need the 1/2" to give you the leverage. The 3/4 will not do in this case. Make sure it fits nicely. It does not, so I'm going to have to change to a different tool. Okay, I've switched over to a 3/4 and a long deep socket. Well, I took this off, this wall of pipe, because I noticed I'll put the clamps back on the pipe so I don't lose the clamps. Because I couldn't take the spanner off, 19mm spanner, it was resting against here and it's pushing against it, and I couldn't take it off for that reason. So separate. One feels a lot easier. So that's it. I'm not going to do it too much because I won't be able to withdraw my spanner, my socket, which I'm really struggling with now. Room already. It's just enough room earlier. Can't be. I didn't really undo that much. It should come up. So if I tighten it up again, it'll be easier. Come on, yeah. See, I need just enough room. So, well, I haven't done it. I'll crack the bolt anyway. That's the key thing, right? Now I can put in the ratchet. Now as I put my 14 ratchet spanner, and it's loose now, right, in here. One thing holding it back, and that is it's hitting this bracket. See that bracket that's there? It's hitting it. And of course this way round you haven't got the right angle sometimes on it. So you could do it with an open spanner or take the bracket off. I'm thinking, what should I do now? So I'm thinking about taking that bracket off. I don't know, if I could get just even a socket over that one, a long socket, I'll be able to spin it with just my fingers if it's loose enough. This bracket, this black bracket is just in the way. If that was out of the way, I'll have to take it out from this side, 10 mil. That bracket can come out of the way. That'll make that job just that bit much easier. That's all metal, so I can't do anything about that. So let's see if I can get the back. So this car, changing alternator, although it's right here, it's much harder than it seems. Much harder. Right, okay. Do you know I was trying to take off that 10 mil? I had a ring spanner. As I pulled it, it dropped. And do you remember at the start of the video I said I wanted to take off the bottom tray? But then I looked at the number of rivets, plastic rivets, and I thought, oh no, it didn't really feel like it. Drop the spanner down there, I cannot see it anywhere from any angle, even from below and from front, can't see it. So I'm going to try and pull out all the rivets from the front, see if I can drop it. If not, I'm going to have to reposition my axle stands and then take off the whole bottom panel. Reposition my axle stands with better 3-ton jacks, 3 tons axle stands, and then take off the whole tray. I got a feeling, and I tried taking off, the metal oil pan that's in the middle, completely rusted off. So if anyone's ever changed the oil filter on this, guaranteed they would have had to take off the whole bottom panel, because that metal thing is completely solidly rusted. So I managed to fish out the ring spanner I use. That's the bolt that comes out of the 10 mil. I've just loosened, let me put that away, I'm going to drop that. Just loosened that bracket, that black bracket, so that's, let me just show you, but I've just loosened that black bracket, so that's out the way now, right? So I can move that out of the way and put my spanners in there or whatever. It's going to be a problem getting that bottom tray off every time I'm changing oil. It's going to be a problem, but it's the only way. Next time I get, well, the first time I do change the oil on this will be like in a year's time, because when I bought this thing, the oil was absolutely completely clear. But they probably did a method where they just sucked it out of here, out of the dipstick area, and then just chuck the new oil in. That's probably what they did. Because I don't see that bottom tray ever coming off ever in this car's life. So the oil filter is probably old, really old, and that middle metal panel, the screws on there are well fixed with rust. So next time, probably high summer, drop the bottom tray and put new screws in them so they'll come off easy, or at least put anti-seize or something, right? Okay. So now with that bracket out of the way, I can put my 14mm ratchet, so you've got enough tension to ratchet it. Enough friction to ratchet it. do it with the open end, I think. Get a long spanner, it's easier to grip. Trident spanner. This is the one I use on the Mark 8. Get you a better view. You probably think, again, I can't see a thing. You probably thinking. Just a quick view, and then I'll just have to move the camera out of the way so you can see it right there. Right there. Whichever, whatever angle you can get the spanner in. See, open end will do, but then you need a long open end because you're going to lose your grip for sure. I could probably do that with my hand now. All right. So that top bolt is this 14mm. And it's meant to be on the Mark 8. The torque setting for these is 22 Newton meters, which is why I thought it said 30. So 22, add a little bit more, 30, right? You don't want to be tightening these up. That bottom one was on about 60, maybe 60, 70. So that would be way too much, right? So I'm taking that bottom bolt out, hopefully. Slide out, and then this might kind of drop a bit. Hopefully it won't upset the belts I've got there, and I'll catch it, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll take that one off because it will come out a bit, hopefully. It might not stretch that much. I think I might have to take it off. Might have to disconnect or snap that off and put a new one on. And that's the other bolt. So I'm tugging it, it's not coming out easily. I've got a feeling it's either on a dowel or I'm missing a bolt. This, both bolts gone. Lifts up nicely. Don't be there's another bolt. Not coming easily. It must be a dowel of some kind. I'm hoping it'll go that way. Then I can get it out. So we'll look at this new one here. Bolt's gone. It should lift straight up. Doesn't make sense. There's nothing there I can see. No dowel. AC pumps usually have a dowel. Should be a straight lift, unless it's a cable I'm feeling resistance of. Wiggle's working. Look straight in there. Is it? More wiggle. Sleeve on here, is it? I have to be careful. See, right here. See that? There's a funny thing coming out from the turbo. Funny little bit of cabling. So I'm going to take that out as well first. Was I damaged? Right, there was a little tiny 10mm bolt that held this bracket on. So now I can get the rest of the cabling now. a bit more of a civilised manner. I'm thinking about taking the lambda sensor off. Reason being, I can't get at the. Still, you know, it's still easier if it was taken off to take the alternator out, but should have enough room. Let me just find me. Oh, there it is. See, this thing here, I don't want to damage it. This thing is easily damaged. That's why I took this off. But I'm just going to leave it on there. All that can just stay on there, like so. It's just a case of let's get some penetrating oil in that space down there. It's starting to get dark. Okay, it does. It just pulls out. Make sure the cable is out of the way. Just pulls out. Make sure my cable is well out of the way. Plugged in at the bottom. Oh, there's like a little. How can I unplug that? Unplugged it. Remind me, this black hole plug goes at the bottom down there on the sensor, and I will be in contact. This contact oil down there. So now that's kind of out of the way a bit more. I'm just going to get a bungee out. This is a lot more difficult than the Mark 8. Maybe a little bit more difficult. It's a lot more difficult. I don't want to bend it too much because there's that sensor connecting to the exhaust. Kindly lift up. Okay. Then upside down. Upside down is the key. Something else hanging on. Nothing else hanging on. Okay. Oh dear. Yeah, I thought the bearings had gone. Not the bearings, it was just overheating like mad. Can't tell you exactly what the fault is. So there's nothing down there stopping it. Just this, as you'll expect. That's it. My belt is drenched in water, coolant. I'm thinking I might as well take the belt off. I don't know. Belt looks in good condition, but now it's soaked in fluid. Coolant. There's a tight knit. I've got a spare belt, I've got a new belt coming. Just check the pulleys. There's no lot of friction. There's no idler pulley right now. From what I can see. Still coming out. Do not eat your dinner or whatever coolant. Let me just show you. So smart move would be to change the belt since I got it this far. Not too impossible. Now I'm at this angle and the alternator's out. It's almost coming apart in my hand. So, normal running, it would sit like that. Like that. Normal running, it would sit like that. I'm surprised I'm still getting coolant. Coming out. Because it's a straight flat thing. It's straight and flat. Okay. There's no cracks in the belt. Okay, give it a... No, you're going to have to be behind it. It's quite strong. Yeah.
Do I do it now?
Yeah, do it now. And once that thing is out of the way, I can get my fingers in there. Oh, yeah. Remember, I've got to get my hands in there.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got all the newspaper stuffed up. Let me know when it stops.
Yeah, stop. Not far off. Yeah. You do it.
You can hold it, yeah?
Yeah.
Let me know if you can't hold it.
Of course I can. You're not far off, you're a tiny bit off.
You just check what's wrong. All on your teeth. Right.
Just a tiny bit off.
How can it be like this?
That's it, you got it. Yeah, I got it. It's catching on the top bit. If you look at it, you see where the lip is, it's catching.
Right, let me just take it off. Let go of the pressure.
Does this thing actually spin? Does this spin?
Yeah, it will spin.
Why don't you just fucking do it like a...
Right, I'm going to try from putting on the belt, attaching a belt already on the top, and then just trying for the AC pulley, putting it from, I'm going to go from below, and I can't take the bottom cover off. If I could, it would be easier. It's just a wild shot. So, okay, so for the Honda Civic 1.6 iDTEC UK right hand drive, to put the belt back on, absolute impossible nightmare from the top. The belt hasn't shrunk due to the coolant, so you need two people to put the belt on. So if you're changing AC, alternator, or just the belt itself, you need two people. One person to use a tool like this, leave a link in the description for this tool. Extra pipe to go on top, needs to be fitting over here, and we fashioned an old torch. Use the end of this mag light, squashed it a bit on my press, and then obviously look what I did. I stuffed newspaper down there, and of course I will withdraw the newspaper. And then when my brother pushed on there, steady pressure, push, and it got to the limit. I already had it on this one, and it was really easy to put it on this one. There was absolute bags of slack, and I put it straight on. I thought I'd struggle. So AC is the last one it goes on. I'll double check. I'll see if it's on the rung. I'll double check if it's on. If it's on all the tooth, cogs and the rib cogs, then that'll be it. I think it is. I'll just double check. Usually I use newspapers. If I left a bit behind, it's not going to break anything. There he is, it's all on. That's it. Nice one. Thank you, bro. And for sure, before you do any work on your car, which I forgot to take off the negative battery terminal, gave myself an electric shock or something, and it was a spark. When I went to do this, my gloves were a bit wet and something sparked. Hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing happened to the engine's computer. So test it out. Obviously I'm off the floor, it doesn't matter if I'm in gear or not. And make sure, double check, got none of those newspapers stuffed in there, nothing in there, triple check, make sure they're, as far as I can tell, they're on the rungs. Okay, nothing wrong with the computer, then I'm going to press pause for a while. So there's nothing catching, thank God. I will check see if I'm getting any electricity out of the battery. I mean the alternator, of course. So quick check. Still getting error messages on the dashboard, but I just need to clear that on the scan tool. 14.41 volts, so the alternators are good. 14.41. There you see that. 14.43, that's good. Alright, okay. With the error messages that's left on the car, error messages seem to have disappeared. Error messages have gone. Right, thanks for watching. That's how you do it. That's how you change the serpentine belt. And guess what? Guess what? The one I ordered online, serpentine belt, came along. So, anyway, thanks for watching. I will leave the errors in. I won't drag it on too long. The things I keep repeating, I won't drag it on. This thing don't fit very well. I don't know why. Get away. That's the reason. I taped that one on. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why that's so floppy. I thought that'd be a bit stiffer. Never mind.